okay?
Thank you.
All yours.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Susan Henry, Manager of Community Investments at Alterna Savings, and welcome to the Alterna Microfinance webinar series. This session is Conquering the 7 Barriers to Business Growth. I know we have members and non-members on the line this evening, so for those of you who are not members, I just want to tell you a little bit about Alterna. We are a financial cooperative that has been around since 1908. We provide financial products and services tailored to fit your needs. As a credit union, our members are our owners. When you open an account, you purchase a membership share, which means you have a say in how we operate, such as voting for the board of directors and changes to the bylaws. Anyone can be a member. For more information on Alterna, visit our website at alterna.ca. At Alterna and through our community microfinance program, we believe it takes more than a loan to help you succeed in business. Along with loan capital, you need access to financial products and services and opportunities to further your knowledge and business planning. Education has always been a key component to our program. So I would like to welcome you to the second of our 4-part series designed to help you at various stages in your businesses. In this session, you will hear about barriers that can help you in your business, barriers that can stagnate your business growth, and you will learn insights on actions you can take to overcome those barriers. Our webinar session will be facilitated by David Cohen. David is a member of Alterna. He's been a business coach, facilitator, author, and former radio show host, and he hosted the Small Business Big Idea show from 2002 to 2013. David brings years of experience, contacts, ideas, creativity, and a little tenacity to help you through the challenges of launching and growing the business. David will introduce our guest speakers, Judy Hughes and Nick Hughes, of Your Planning Partners. Before he does that, let's take a little bit to talk about house cleaning. Your lines are muted and the webinar will be recorded. I ask that you hold your questions until any break, and then you can answer those, and you can ask those questions in our chat box. David, I'm turning it over to you.
Thanks. And I'm going to have to change present PowerPoints because the one I sent you, Susan, was the one geared for tonight. So I got to go back to the original PowerPoint because those have all my questions. So we are looking at conquering the 7 barriers to success tonight. I want to welcome everybody to the call, especially our guests, Judy and Nick Hughes from Your Planning Partners. And there's Judy and there's Nick. You'll be hearing a lot from them. And by the way, we will have time tonight too for questions. So write your questions down in the chat room, and we'll take them up at about the halfway point and also towards the end. So one of our guests tonight is Judy Hughes. She's the co-founder of Your Planning Partners. She and her husband Nick have been together building successful businesses since 1979. Judy has applied her strong, whoop, I went too fast, her strong sales skills to her work with hundreds of small business clients. She's become instrumental in helping her clients set a clear destination, develop a strategic action plan, and focus on implementing those plans. The success of her business ventures is really her overall passion for small business, her unrelenting commitment to the power that comes from having complete clarity about where you're going, and then the force that is created by your strategic focus. Judy's written numerous articles. She's a keynote speaker. She's taught a wide range of hands-on workshops, led numerous, what's that word there? I just, it's hidden behind my, my screen. That's why I'm having a little trouble with it. Anyway, led numerous sessions, training sessions, coaching, consulting with small business owners so that they run exceptional businesses. that's a little bit on Judy. She's really an incredible woman, a real passion for success, to see others succeed. She's also now an author. Nick Hughes is her husband and partner in crime, and he's too has guided your planning partner since 1994. He's a consultant and coach. He advises and supports his client base, and helping business owners deal with the daily challenges of running and growing their own business. So Nick has steered the company by building it, growing it, and selling of three successful small businesses that included IT, consulting, manufacturing, and retail. He's passionate about business and in consulting, and his experience as a business consultant through your planning partners is really, I would say, a bit of a pride and joy for Nick. He's got big ideas, big thinking, business wisdom that guides his clients towards focusing on the achievement of them achieving their business goals. Clients appreciate Nick's practical approach to minimizing business risks and maximizing growth opportunities. Nick's concrete business skills are integral to the creation of various planning tools that your planning partner's proprietary processes, the Strategic Focus Program and the Business Builders Program. Nick is a keynote speaker for industry and professional groups and a published author on a broad range of small business topics. So let's welcome
And on top of that, we're a lot of fun, David.
Oh yeah, you're a lot of fun and passionate, and I like the fact that you mix a little bit of business and a little joy and pleasure too. So
We
those
sure do.
you do for sure. For those on the call tonight, this is what we're going to look at. We're going to look at conquering the 7 barriers to growth, and we're going to look at business growth and the impact on you and your business. We'll describe the 7 barriers to business growth and explain why they're so important and what you need to know about them. And then we'll also provide some practical tools and immediate actions to help you overcome any of those barriers. So, Judy, I'm going to start with you. We're doing a little bit of a roundtable since we have you and Nick on session tonight. Why did you feel the need to take on this topic with the clients you serve, business growth? Why is business growth sort of a bit of a key topic for you?
It's actually the topic in the work we do, because one of the things we came to realize quite early on is that the skills that you need to start a business are very, very different than the skills you need to grow a business. And building a business is different than having a job. So there are 3 pieces here. One is that to start a business, you really absolutely need to try everything. And you need to just get out there and do it and see what happens. You need to be really fluid and take on every opportunity that comes to you. However, when you want to build that business into something that's sustainable and something that's going to grow, you need a different set of skills. You need the skills that help you create a small business infrastructure, not a corporate infrastructure, and the skills that help you put the systems and processes in place so that the company isn't reliant on only you. And so that's exactly why we took on this topic, and it's exactly why we built the business, is we realized that there are so many people out there, lots of people who start a business, and that's wonderful, thank goodness. And what we found is there was nowhere for people to go to build that business and to grow that business. And most businesses are not overnight successes. You don't read about our clients in the newspaper because they are clients who are building strong, sustainable businesses that are giving them the life that they want in the business, and they're growing the business they want.
So, Nick, do you find that as a business owner, we're not always prepared for growth? And as a result, we're not always prepared for growth, let alone do we plan properly for it. Do you find that?
Absolutely. We all plan to grow because That's a simple thing to do. It's numbers of clients, it's revenue, it's profit, whatever it is. It's a very measurable thing and a very easy thing to plan to grow. What we fail to do often, and this is where we come in with our clients, is you've also got to plan for growth. So as your business grows successfully, you have to set up all the infrastructure to support more clients, more revenue, space, and so on. So the key here is that we keep talking to our clients is we're going to plan for growth as opposed to just plan to grow.
All right. And Judy, I'm going to throw it back to you here. In the clients you work with, there must be a little bit of trepidation in the entrepreneurs that you work with. You know, a little bit of fear, a little bit of worry, because, you know, at the end of the day, it's okay being a small business. It's okay to work from home. So, you know, nobody's saying you have to become a big, you know, overnight sensation or a big company. But the other side of little growth is big growth. More expenses, more risk, more employees, and worse, we have to give up part of our business to someone else. So how do you coach your clients to make it cool to grow sustainably?
That's a huge big question. There's a lot of questions there, David, in
I
one
know.
question. That was really well done. So the first thing is I'm really most happy when people come with some fear and trepidation rather than excitement and awe, because if there's not a little bit of fear and trepidation, then they really aren't looking at it realistically. So that's number one. And number two is that I'm going to address the giving up. You're not giving up your business. If somebody feels like they're giving up their business, then maybe this isn't the right thing to be doing. What you do is you're collaborating. You're bringing in other people. You're building a team. And the people that we find are the clients that we have that gain the greatest success are the people who are excited about the team piece rather than the giving up piece. And that's really, really important. Like any of the people that come to us, doesn't mean they're not controlling, however.
Yeah,
but the controlling piece is a skill. You can learn to be less controlling. It's interesting.
It's tough, though.
It is tough. It is tough. It is really, really tough. But it's not, the people who really want to grow their business do not think about it as giving up anything.
All right. What about the delegation part then? You know, you said giving up some of the control. So you have to become really good delegators. And that's tough for a small business owner because here they are, they're doing it all by themselves for so long. And now they have to, I find when it comes down to training and somebody to take a new role on in the company, that there's a little reluctance. Do you see that too?
Oh, there's a huge reluctance.
Not little, it's huge.
That's right. No, it's a huge reluctance, and it happens all the time. And literally part of our coaching is that reminder of, wait a second, you know, what are you doing here? Do you really want to own this? You don't even like this. Why do you want to do this? That's a piece of it. And the other piece is actually helping them learn how to delegate. Delegation isn't easy. It's not just here's a job, go away and do it. It's truly a case of a trained skill. We have a process. Actually, on the website we've got a handout thing, like a download on how to delegate, because the delegation is a learned skill. But there's another piece too, and that is that if the people who is to go back to your vision, and we keep reminding people that if you truly have the vision of building a business, you need to build it with a team. It's not about do you have the vision of having a business. It's about do you have the vision of building a business, and those are a little bit different.
Mm-hmm. So what needs to be put in place then if you're ready to grow and you have to bring somebody else in? You know, you have to have, I guess, do you document your processes and then train based on your process, those internal processes, and how to do certain tasks within the company? And also, do you train and look for somebody who's got buy-in? They like your vision. They like where you're at. What do you do there with your clients?
Actually, all of those, I'll just take that one. And the very first step we do when someone is ready to grow their business with people, with a team, is we sit down and really define the job with them. We call it the job profile. So what this does is, first of all, gives them complete focus on what skills and attitudes they are looking for, and also avoids them just hiring their best friends, because as we keep saying, best friends are very scarce, but trained in team members there's a lot of them. So we make sure that we really define the job, and then we look for the best person that matches the job as opposed to the best person that they like. So it's a process. We have a 7-step recruitment process that helps them through this.
And David, I'll quickly jump in, sorry to bring you right back to the other slide, but the other thing is that we never write the processes. Whoever we hire, we get them to write the process. The first person I always recommend people hire is an admin support person. It could be admin marketing support.
Yeah.
And that's the person who should write those processes with you. They write it and you review it with them. So I don't know a business owner in the world that likes to write processes, by the way. So that's one of the reasons. And the other reason is that I'm not qualified to write the processes. It's not the work I do. You really need to have the person who's going to be doing the job write the processes. So that's the first thing. And then the other thing I wanted to address is that with regard to buying into your vision, it's really, I say this to our clients all the time, it's your job as a business owner to make sure that vision is clearly articulated and that you're engaging your team. Even if that team is all outsourced, if it's a virtual assistant and it's your printer and it's all of your coach and all those people, it's your job to sell them on or get them to buy into your vision. And if you don't tell them what that vision is, they are never going to buy into it.
Right. So growth impacts us in a number of ways. First of all, your job's going to change. There's new skills to learn and new relationships. So that's, I guess, the good news. You call it. It's like starting over, only better. Why is that? Why do you say that? Growth within your organization or company or business is like starting only better.
It's like starting over because suddenly, as you just described earlier, David, you're now starting to hire a team, you're starting to manage people, you're starting to be a leader. So that's like starting over again because you've got to learn how to do all of that. But it's better because you now realize that what you're building is a sustainable business. It's a real live business. That's why it's better.
And as is always our way, I have another side. For me, I see it starting over only better as when you are actually at the point of growth, you know what you don't know. When you started, you have no idea what you don't know. And I love it when you know what you don't know, because now you can reach out to other people and ask them for input, and you can collaborate. It's a totally exciting time.
Okay, so you want clients to start to embrace growth and welcome it and be open to change and the learning and the new relationships that happen. That's what I'm getting from from you and the work you do with your clients, right?
Yeah.
But still, Judy and Nick, we do have fear around growth. Growth means change. It means responsibility. It means increased risk. Can you walk us through maybe a client that you've worked with to help them manage that fear and embrace the growth in their business? What happened? What were the steps that you took together to get the client to be more at peace with going from here to there?
Peace. I wonder if that's the right word.
Is that even possible?
Well, I think it is. I think it is possible to be at peace with your decision. I suspect if you talk to business owners about the word peace within themselves, there's always a certain level of anxiety about where they're going next or what they could be doing. That's not to say they're not a piece of people. However, to answer your question, this is an interesting thing for us because we talked about it earlier. I'll tell the story of one of our clients a few years ago was a graphic designer by trade who had built a company that was mainly graphic design, and she had sort of become a marketing agency.
And very successful, by the way. She had a team and everything.
Yeah, she had a team and so on. But she really, really wanted to grow. So it's a little bit of the opposite. She had embraced growth before she came to us. Um, she just wasn't sure how she was going to make that happen. And so, and I will say that she almost knew instinctively that she didn't want to do it organically. And we talked about it earlier. We decided to use her as an example because there's some complexities here in that she knew she didn't want to grow organically, and she really knew her strengths well. And that would be something I would say to everybody, and we say to our clients, really, you need to be self-aware. Self-awareness is totally important as a business owner. Where are you good? Stick with those things and let someone else do the things you're not good at. And so she had a few options. Obviously, you could partner with people, you could do this, you could do this. The decision we came to together with her was to merge, to find a company, to find another company, another small business like herself, who was at the same sort of place as her and wanted to partner or wanted to merge. But it had to be a company that had strengths, the opposite strengths. So their strengths with her weaknesses. The story goes on. We in fact helped her find the absolute perfect person who was very experienced, had been in business for like 35 years, had a great deal of wisdom. She, by the way, was much younger, had a different kind of energy than him. He had big corporate clients. She had small clients, small business clients. And they ended up bringing their businesses together. We helped them go through that process of planning that merger was the first piece, and not only planning the merger, but planning the transition into that merger so that she had the team, don't forget, he had the clients, so that her team and his clients could learn to work together. And we worked with them to plan that merger and then plan the next steps for growth. And it was wonderful. It was great. They've had great success. We worked with them for about 3 years. We included the team in the planning. So the team was absolutely engaged in where they were going and where their growth was going. And they really did achieve everything they set out to achieve. He wanted to retire 3 to 5 years down the road, and this was going to be his vehicle for that, and he has since done that. And she wanted to be able to have a family, and she's since done. So it was great. It is great.
Everyone was happy.
Yeah, it's still great, actually.
Wow. And how did you get everybody on board and happy? Because it's almost like, it's like, it's like the Brady Bunch,
It wasn't always that
coming
way.
together, and you hope they get along, right?
Right, we should have a little song in the background, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. No, it wasn't always that way. And actually a big part of where we came, it was that way when times were good and things were great. But every time there's a hurdle, the first thing is, okay, this isn't going to work. And we would kind of bring them back in and go, wait a second, this can work. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about where this is going. They both needed to learn how to adapt to the change, and they also needed to learn that this was going to be a journey too. Bringing their companies together was a journey, and they needed to embrace that journey. And that's probably, how can you reframe the fear of growth is the big thing, the big subject. I've always been talking to people about the journey. It's not a quick fix. It's a journey. Slow down. Look at it in its pieces. That's the most important piece.
I also sense you also mentioned a couple of times you need to have an attitude to embrace growth, embrace change, embrace the new. And I think if we don't have that, from what I'm hearing, that it probably won't work. Like you won't be able to grow your company. You won't be able to bring on the right people to assist. You won't be able to joint venture and form a new alliance or partnership. If the attitude going into it is off, it's just not going to happen. Am I right?
Yes, you are absolutely right, and that's quite common with our new clients is when they come into our programs to start working with us, they really are pushing back on that change, all those ones you just described, David. And over time, we work with them to bring them around to the fact that the positive parts of change, the business will be less dependent on you, you'll have more time with your family, and the business will grow, and most important of all, you'll get a sense of peace. So
Right.
it is a process. And yes, at first people do push back.
I have to also say, David, I'm just rereading what you've written here, is that the other piece of it is that we tell people right from the beginning, they don't believe us, thank goodness, that growth means change. And we're constantly reinforcing that. And if and some people don't want to grow, and that's okay too. So that's all part of your vision and where you're going with everything.
Right. One quick question about this case study that you just shared. Was there a cultural fit between the two organizations? Were they culturally aligned?
No,
No.
no, there was a values fit though. There wasn't a cultural fit. Culturally, that's where when they had problems, that's where the problems came in. Well, no, that's not
Well,
true.
one of the things we do when people are looking at a first-time business partnership, there's a couple of sessions we go through with everyone where we really dig deep into beliefs, ideas, and so on and so forth. So when they come out of that, they're pretty committed to going into the partnership or not going into it, one or the other. But still there are surprises, big
Right.
surprises.
Yeah, I bet.
But the rewards are terrific if it works.
Right. So it's a competitive marketplace out there. How do you get a client to believe that growth is even possible? You know, there's some doom and gloomers who just suggest the sky is falling economically. It's a tight economy. Yet, you know, when you look at it, trillions of dollars trade hands in countries and businesses each day. So where can we begin to look in order to grow our own businesses and markets? So this is a little different. This isn't like growing our company and doing joint ventures and partnerships and teaming up with another organization. This is just looking to grow our own business, to get more sales, to get more clients. Judy, I'm going to start with you on that.
Well, my favorite expression is diamonds in your own backyard. So I always, whenever people are doom and gloom, business isn't good, I don't have enough clients, yada, yada, I always say, so who are your diamonds? And, who are the people who are in your own backyard that are going to help you grow your business? And it starts with your clients. You go to your clients and you ask them for referrals. I'm assuming your clients are happy. And if they're not, then you've got a different kind of problem. And so you talk to your clients about, I want to grow my business, here are the people I want to serve, more people like you. So that's the first. The second are people that you've done proposals to before. Go and talk to them about, are you ready yet? How is it working out for you? Your networking. Follow up on your networking. Those are diamonds in your own backyard. Your community. So to me, you always start with the diamonds in your own backyard. That's the first thing.
Right, and that's the people that you know already. Or another way of saying it's the low-hanging fruit. It's the relationships you have. It's the current clients. It's the people you've talked to and marketed to and have formed some kind of a relationship with. Right?
Absolutely. But I still feel that the first place you start is with the people you serve the best. Who is it that you can help the most? And that is the low-hanging fruit. And I believe that those people are usually in your own backyard.
Yeah, you already know them.
Yeah, look to your past successes.
Actually, more important, David, they already know us.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, true. Okay.
There's that trust.
You gotta know who your clients are, and you gotta know what's going on for them and how you help them, and what you can do to keep on assisting them. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, Nick, how do we need to maybe shift our thoughts about growth, even being possible? How would you work with a client who is that bit of a doubting Thomas. And I'm talking about sales and business growth here, like.
Absolutely. And what we use is the concept of small steps with quick results. Because people who are the doubting are the ones that are probably feeling a bit insecure. They don't know how to sell. They don't know how to do this. And so what we do is put together an action plan where it's very small steps so that we'll get quick results, and so that will build their confidence. They will start to realize that, yes, they can do this, and it does lead to success. It does lead to growing the business. But it's very important, small steps that give them quick results.
I was just working with a client, had a coaching session with a client last week or a couple of weeks ago, and she's procrastinating, putting off, right? Putting off getting out there, putting off making things happen. And so we set a series of 3 goals that she needed to accomplish within the week. And I was going to check in with her the following week. Did you do it? Great. Pat on the back. What's next? That kind of thing. Is that what you do with your clients that are, wanting to grow the business, get more business, get more sales, get more people coming through the door, but they're a little bit like, I don't know, I don't know, right? I don't know if it's possible. Is that what you do?
That was a great example. That's exactly, because what happens to all of us when we're a bit insecure and a bit doubting is we run off and hide where we're most comfortable. So if, for example, it was me, I am not a salesperson, and never have been able to do that, I would run back and deal with technology and processes, and that would help at all. So the example you gave is really good, David.
Yeah, I always say, David, whenever I find someone's avoiding something, I'll go, so where are you hiding? And why are you hiding there? What are you avoiding? And 9 times out of 10, they're going to their comfort zone, to the place that they feel the most comfortable.
Yeah, I'd even go so far to ask, like, what are they getting from hiding?
Comfort.
They're avoiding, yes. No. And it's very natural.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I do, by the way. I organize. Whenever I'm not doing what I'm supposed to, I'm organizing something.
To me, that's a scary thing.
I build paperclip models rather than make cold calls at my desk.
That's right. So we all have it. We just need to have enough self-awareness to know it.
Right. Well, one thing about, growing your business is you got to take action. Action is necessary. It's it's the key to success, right? You don't take any action, nothing's going to happen. So talking about actions, and we're going to, if you guys, if you people on the call, if you have questions, write them down in the question bar. We'll take them up shortly. Judy, what actions do you think we need to take in order for us to pave the way towards growth in our own ventures? What are some key action steps that sort of come to mind?
Oh, there's tons. The first one is to identify your gaps. Where are your gaps? And in some cases, fill them with learning. Learning is always a great way to feel motivated, because you feel like you're moving forward. So that's one. Another way to pave the way towards your growth is to stop doing what you shouldn't be doing. And the first way to do that is hire someone to support you. And it doesn't have to be full-time. It can be a few hours a week. It can be. We have our wonderful Rebecca, as you know, and our wonderful Rebecca in the office is only 3 days a week. But man, oh man, I couldn't do without her. She certainly paves the way towards our growth. And planning, goal setting. I actually set goals for every week. I have a big plan, but I have a weekly planner, and I need that. I need to have weekly goals. That's what I need. Nick, on the other hand, doesn't need those as much, but I certainly do. So
I do. I have monthly, daily.
Pardon?
I have monthly and daily goals.
Yeah, it's just like, you really have to know yourself. Not know yourself. You have to assess what keeps you going. So to pave my way to success, I absolutely need to be doing the things I love. And to do that, I need someone else to do things I don't love, which is where Rebecca, our support person, comes in. And I do a lot of motivational stuff. It's lonely being in your own business.
I
And
know.
and even though I have Nick, it's still lonely. And so I do a lot of motivational stuff. I listen to meditation. I write in my journal every day. All those things, and it's really important to me that I'm constantly reminding myself that I am growing, and that's where my actions come from.
Okay. And I like the fact that you're taking responsibility for your own inspiration and motivation. And I think that's really important as a small business owner that, we have to keep, we might not see it, right. We might not see the results right away or the results that we're looking for right away. We might not see the sales coming in right away, but, just stay as positive as you can in the journey and the results will come. They'll come. I'm going to skip the second question, and Nick, I'm going to go to you about this Japanese thing. They have a way of being in business that embraces action. They call it kanai, which is constant and never-ending action. So, Nick, if you were to break down the sort of, the day-to-day grind of running our business, that's the stuff we don't like. What are maybe 3 must-do action steps for growth to happen? What would those be in your estimation?
Oh, this is an easy one.
Okay.
In order to grow your business, you've got to bring on new clients and you've got to retain your existing clients. So the thing that we suggest to everyone is the three steps are, first of all, you're going to touch one client a day in some form, by email, telephone call, whatever. Touch one client a day.
That's existing clients, by the way.
So an existing client. The second one is to touch a prospect today. Again, same thing, email, follow-up call, whatever it might be. So there you've dealt with the retention of clients and the growth of clients. And this is every day. So the business owner is constantly focused on that. And then the final one is more of a sort of a mindset than an action. We suggest our clients start every day with saying to themselves, what is the one thing I can do today to grow the business? And that's it.
Okay, I like that. So it could be, I got to work on my website, or I got to go to a conference, or I've got to make 10 calls today, or whatever it is, right?
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Except I'm going to jump in really quickly. I know we've got a time thing here, David, that most business owners would say, I'm way too busy to do that. I'm way too busy to touch a client and touch a prospect and do one thing to grow my business. But there is always something. We don't have to make it big. You can make it small.
Yeah.
It can be as small and important as making a phone call or doing this webinar, or there's all kinds of things. Just, you don't have to make it huge and cumbersome.
Right.
And you can send hours.
Yeah, and those little things add up, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You mentioned you've got support. You've got Rebecca. You've got an admin. And Rebecca's your sort of your admin person. What kind of support do we need to put in place in our businesses for growth to happen?
I can give you lots of answers. Absolutely. Rebecca is our admin person. She's also our marketing coordinator. She manages all the things that I don't do well in life, and some of what Nick doesn't do well. She manages our calendar, my calendar specifically, much better than I do.
Social media.
She does a lot of our social media. Rebecca is really strong at anything that's methodical and task-driven, and those really important pieces. And I just am not good at that. I'm much better at strategy and vision. And so together we're a great team. So that's one. The other thing is that we need the support of our families and our friends and the people around us. So when this lovely thing about where does the magic happen and where's our comfort zone, the magic sometimes happens for me when I'm with my friends who ask me how things are going, and they ask it in a way that's different than the day-to-day.
Right.
So So,
And I'd like to actually jump in there on the support of the significant other, whether it's spouse or
Yeah,
partner.
because
Because all our clients,
you hummed when Judy said family, you went So yeah,
mm,
jump in.
absolutely, or nearly all of our clients have that and have kids and things like that. And it's really important that they have the support of those people. And sometimes we bring their significant other into a working session so that they can understand more of what's happening.
I have a great example, David. I had lunch today with a client of ours who's on mat leave. It's one of our greatest joys.
She owns a business.
She owns a business, and she's on mat leave. Now, she's not completely removed from her company. I have to qualify that. However, she is taking off the better part of a year and working virtually and very sporadically. And it was wonderful. We sat and had a business-ish lunch while she was nursing her baby. And she has 2 other young children at home. And the time we've worked with her, this is her second mat leave. And I just think that that is so important. And so I can't tell you enough how important it is that people really ensure that they're sharing with their spouse their excitements, or their partners, their friends, their excitements and their joys, as well as their disappointments and their vision.
And a good example of dragging someone kicking and screaming to build their team is in place, and that's why she's able to take the mat leave. It's a very it's very exciting for us to see it happen.
Yeah, she's a real success. I love her.
Yeah. So she set up her business where she can take that time away, right?
And well, we worked together. It was so funny. She walked in and she said, "I need to plan for my business so I can have 2 more kids." And here we are.
All right. Well, you know, it's called an instant. Eventually, you know, when the kids get old enough, they can start filing and collating. You know, so.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
There you go. Yes. And we do have some.
And her dad works with her.
Oh.
He comes in once a week to do some stuff.
Yeah.
It's really.
You know, higher within, I say, right?
I agree.
Yeah. So questions. Susan, do you have any questions?
Sure. I mean, this is a great session so far, and my question is
downhill, Susan.
So my question is around, you know, do you have any advice for those who don't have a Rebecca? You know, they can't hand off some of that work. Is there things like virtual organizers or admin staff that can help with that?
Absolutely. So I'll tell you the story of how Rebecca came to be, and that will explain it. Is 7 years ago or 8 years ago, can't remember. My desk had this pile at the end of it for filing, and a bunch of other stuff. You know, things that just really made me crazy. And so we hired Amy, who was a student, an editing student. We interviewed her just the same as you would anybody for an administrative position. I mean, a full interview for a job that was going to be 8 hours a week, 2 half days in our office. And one of the things, by the way, even though it was our home office, was that she could not wear jeans. She had to wear business attire to work, which I don't know if she was happy about or not. She was really young then.
And we don't have the home office.
Yeah, we don't have the home office anymore, but at the time. And Amy started 2 afternoons a week because she was at George Brown's College, and she loved it because she was getting a little bit more than minimum wage, and she was in an office, and she was getting office experience, and we guaranteed her a reference if she was any good. And that's how we started with an admin assistant. It doesn't have to be anything more. Rebecca is 3 days a week. She is not full-time. And we have other people who do other outsourced things. And it could be virtual, absolutely. And I can, you know, give people guidance on how to make that happen. But it all starts with having a job profile. And it all starts with doing a proper job interview and not just hiring a kid for the sake of giving them a job or getting something done. And it doesn't matter if it's 8 hours or if it's 40 hours.
And just an aside for those people who are listening to this webinar, in our previous businesses, there was no such thing as virtual help.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Now, I don't work well with virtual help, by the way, so that's one of the reasons we have people in the office. Um, it's just me. I like seeing a face and telling stories and asking how the weekend was. It's who I am, and 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 sharing stuff and bringing food in on Wednesdays. But that's who I am. It doesn't have to be that way though, and and the other thing is that we have, in the whole time, had only 2 assistants. Rebecca happens to be Amy's best friend. And so Amy was our first person. She 3 days a week. And then when she left to go off and do missionary work in Ecuador, basically Rebecca moved in and as her best friend and took over.
Does that answer your question, Susan?
Great. Yes, it does. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? We've got, I just want to acknowledge Andrew and Anita and Colette and Faina and Hope and Mike Bradford, Coach Mike and Natasha and Sonia and Tom for being on the session tonight. We've got about 10 or maybe a little bit more left, 10 minutes left. I think we're okay to move on. If you have any questions, just chime in at any time. So let's look a little closely. Oh, we do have a question. Oh, Hope says thank you. Thank you, Hope. You're welcome. Let's look at these 7 barriers to growth now, okay? And we'll probably have to rapid fire it a little bit. Are you okay to go about 5 minutes over, Judy and Nick and Susan?
Yep.
And everybody on the call?
Hopefully our participants are, but let's aim for that because we did start a bit late.
Yeah. All right. So the 7 barriers to growth, there's 7 of them. And here they are. There's you, your people, money, customers, processes, information, technology, Nick, and plans. So let's look at you. What are the aspects of, I think we kind of touched on this a little bit, but in a bit more of a rapid fire sort of response, what are the aspects of who we're being in our business that we need to maybe overcome and get out of our own way, like, and not be barriers to growth? Do you know what I mean? What do we have to change in ourselves in order to overcome our own barriers to growth? Sometimes we get in our way.
Okay. You are not all things to all people. That's my first mantra. Not everybody's going to love you, nor should they, and you can't serve everybody. You can always help somebody. There is not a person in my life that I meet in a day that I will not try and help, but that's different than serving them. And so really get to know who is your ideal client. Not only get to know, study who is your ideal client, and really work to serve them to the best of your ability.
All right, Nick, any comments there? Anything to add on the you aspect?
Rapid fire. The only thing I would add to that is you've really got to get that mindset that I'm going to build a business that is no longer dependent on me at some point in the future. And it's a really strong, it's a difficult mindset to get into. It takes time.
Yeah,
If you don't have that mindset, it won't grow.
You mentioned before too, Judy, real quick, on self-awareness being really key. You're not the only one that's talking that message. Gary Vaynerchuk, author, speaker, serial entrepreneur, he's got a wicked YouTube channel. He wrote the Crush It about his family wine business and the Thank You Economy. He talks about the importance of self-awareness, knowing thyself, probably one of the most important cornerstones of running a successful business. How do you see it play out in your clients, that self-awareness? How does that sort of play out in some of your successful clients?
Well, I think every one of our clients is successful in their own right. But as you said that, I was thinking of a persona of one client that we have that he is like so aware of himself. And this is a person who is so busy, and his schedule, goodness only knows, is crazy, crazy. And he takes time out for him to learn about himself every single year. And then when he finds out his gaps and thinks through those gaps, he really strives to fill them. And it's not to say that he certainly is not perfect. He's just very aware of where he needs other people to fill in the gaps for him and where he can bring the greatest strength to his company.
I like that. And I like the fact that he's looking at the gaps and hiring for gaps and bringing on the right people to help.
Yeah, and on top of that, he literally, honestly, no matter how busy his schedule is, honors the time he has set for himself. And if there's any lesson I have learned in this last 5 years, is honor the time you set for yourself and for your company.
Yeah. Now you have a people mantra, and you say, I cannot grow my business without the help of other people who can do much of the work better, faster, more efficiently than me, allowing me to be doing what I should be doing. Growth is my focus. That's your mantra. So Judy, what do we need to shift in order to embrace, the right people to come in and assist with our growth?
Do not hire for the person. Hire for the job. So do a job profile and hire for that job profile. Do not hire someone just because you like them. You do need to like the person, but you need to start with, is this person going to be able to do the job? Are they going to be able to shine in this position, and are you going to be able to support them in that place of shining?
All right. And then what are the various people that we really need to have in place to help us take it to the next level?
Yes, and it does depend where you are in your business. So if there's any attendees to this webinar who are presently solopreneurs, they're working on their own, then the first person you should be, we've covered this, you must find yourself a good admin assistant, part-time, virtual, whatever, to start helping you do the things you shouldn't be doing. If you've already got a team in place, then you should keep searching for where you're not strong and the team's not strong and start filling those gaps.
All right, nicely done. Let's move on. Money, the next barrier. How can we conquer the money barrier, Judy? That's a big one for us. There's never enough time or money, right?
Oh, yeah, but it's obvious. Go to Alterna. Talk to Susan.
Do you like that, Susan?
Love it.
All right, good.
No, you know what? Do a plan. In seriousness, Susan, the way to do it is to do a plan and really know what the money is you're going to need and know how you're going to fill those gaps and what your strategy is. And then go and talk to someone like Susan at Alterna. Don't go in blind and don't wait until it's too late. Go in prepared.
Yeah, and do your homework. I was just looking at doing a crowdfunding campaign, and I brought, for our, the course we teach with youth, and I brought in a crowdfunding specialist. And you know what? I'm not doing crowdfunding anymore. Because it's too much work for not necessarily a good rate of return.
Yeah, and the other piece of it, and Susan, I would love if you spoke to this for one quick second. The other piece of it is that when you go for money, you're going to that person, that company is a partner. And so really think about what kind of partner you want in this financial arrangement. Am I right, Susan?
Absolutely right. I mean, we always say that it's a win-win situation. So, and that's why we're doing things like this webinar today. When our member succeeds, we as a credit union financial institution, we succeed as well. So that partnership is a really big piece for us.
It's a two-way street, Susan.
Yeah, absolutely. And people forget that. They, it's not like everybody has got the same answer to this, but absolutely. And Susan, thank you, because it is a partnership. It's so strong.
So, Nick, sometimes we put limits on our money thinking and conversations to the point where we might miss something. How do you coach a client to break free from their own sort of mental thoughts and beliefs about money?
The first thing we do if they have a money blueprint that's holding them back is suggest they read the book Millionaire Mind.
Right.
And come back and talk to us. That's as short as answer you'll get.
All right, that's good, because we are rapid fire now.
If I could just add to that.
Sure.
Because Nick and Judy had made a great point in the beginning around money. In terms of when you're marketing, there's other ways to touch your client besides saying you need money. A lot of people come into me and say, I need to market, so I need some financing. But this thing around, touch a client a day and touch a prospect a day could be as simple as picking up the phone. where, it's just your time and you don't necessarily need funds for that.
Right. Yeah,
Absolutely.
doesn't
Makes
cost a thing. I always say
Yes.
it doesn't cost a thing to be nice too to your customers.
Yes.
So talking about customers, some don't buy all the time, some love us, some give us grief. What do we need to know there, Judy, about growing our customer base? But most importantly, nurturing the ones we have. Those are the diamonds.
Well, if you want to talk about nurturing who you have, send thank you notes.
Handwritten.
Handwritten. I write handwritten notes. And the reason I do is because it takes, I always believe that the energy of me sitting down and writing that note and closing the envelope and putting a stamp must go with it.
Yeah, I put love in my envelope as well as the.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
I prefer money in the envelope.
Well, you're not getting it.
I know.
So one is to say thank you, show your appreciation. That's to existing clients. The other one is I have this great campaign is please don't keep me a secret. If you've got happy clients, don't be afraid to say to them, please don't keep me a secret. Who else do you know that you could tell about me? It's people like to help people, and the summer. Please take advantage of the summer. People you tend to go, oh, it's summer, things are slowing down. No, 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 no. Summer is a great time to have a nice time with your clients.
Yeah.
And that's, and share some values and share some of the things that are really important. And I'm not talking about deep, dark secrets. I'm talking about values. And, that's how people get to know you, and that's how people get to, refer you and so on. So, yeah, absolutely. It's just look after your clients.
Mm.
Okay. And Nick, what about, letting go of the PETA clients that we have, so new ones can come in? And I don't know if you know what I mean by PETA. It's those
No, I
clients
don't.
that are pain in the asses. Pardon.
Oh, okay. We know. Luckily, we've had very, very few of them, but we do know when we suddenly realize that we're trying to avoid working with them, that the temperament between us and them is just not working. And once we know that, we sit down with them and say it's best if we don't continue together, and this is why. And as Judy always says, when that happens, let's at least have something in our back pocket that we can refer them to somewhere else with somebody else that can help them better than we are helping them.
Yeah, the only reason they repeat a client is because it's not the right mix. Yeah. They don't need something. And so, as I said earlier, there isn't a person that you meet in a day that you can't help.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit different than serving them. I serve my clients, but I help a lot of people every day. And so if you've got a client that it's not working and they're a pain in the butt, it's because it's just not the right mix. You might not be the right person. You might have been a little bit too anxious when you started to work together. And if that's the case, then how can you help them move to a new place?
Right. Okay. Um, the last are these three: process, information, and planning. If we were to look at that Kanai model, Japanese embrace, how much time do we need to invest invest in these three barriers, Judy?
What are the three barriers, David? You
The
confused me.
process, information, and planning.
Well, in planning, I'll tell you what we tell our clients, but I'll tell you the actual facts. In fact, you should be, and we do this, you should be spending 20% of your time on growing your business, which to me is the planning piece and the execution of those plans as opposed to marketing and sales. But the execution of those plans, process gets forgotten. I have to admit, until you're in trouble, process is what gets forgotten. How much time do we invest in these three barriers is the question.
It depends. It depends on the client as to where they are in each of these three.
Yeah, I have to agree. In the beginning, in the first sort of 3 to 5 years, I think you need to spend when I say a lot of time, at least a half day to a day a week on planning and information. Process, you really should hire someone else to work with you who is starting to take over the repetitive processes. And as you grow, processes will become more and more important in order to scale or in order to grow. And the mistake that a lot of people make is they take on trying to create those processes themselves, and I think that's the wrong thing. I believe and know that's the wrong thing to do, but Nick is dying to say something.
No, I'm not dying to say, but whenever any of us groan when we talk about processes, we just look at them and say, McDonald's.
Right.
And that's what gets them really thinking about it. And so sort of the other, which we've already covered, is that each person in your team should be creating and writing up their own processes, but never forgetting the McDonald's model. I mean, it's classic.
Yeah, it runs itself. It's a turnkey operation, and that's what you want to achieve. And then they also have a, probably humongous operations manual too, right?
They do, in fact. They do actually have a manual still.
Yeah, well, the other part of it is, why do you go to McDonald's? Is because you know what you're going to get when you get there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's consistent worldwide. So how do we know, real quick, because we're really we're pushing time, our processes may be off or incorrect or not as efficient? What starts to show up?
What the results?
Yeah, like what, when we're not, when our processes are a bit off,
You suddenly start seeing things going wrong. You're constantly, as the business owner, you're jumping in to fix things that shouldn't need fixing, placating customers that shouldn't be. It's become so obvious that we could do another webinar on that alone, and I'm not fluffing it off, don't get me wrong. It becomes so obvious that you will know immediately.
Right. So how do we start to learn then to adopt best practices and implement the proper processes into what we do?
That's a mindset.
It's a mindset. It's a case of people and reviewing their own processes, and you reviewing them as the business owner, constantly refining them,
but it's more
and
important.
Also making them as important as McDonald's has made their processes.
And I'll give you a really quick example, David. It's not up to, if you, the business owner, don't take your processes and information seriously, then you can't expect your team to. So the only way you're going to do that, and we just watched a webinar about this, is to actually pay people while they're writing your processes and take it as a part of their job. So you say to people, 2 hours a week is to be spent on processes, and they're getting paid for that time. It has to be seen as a priority and has to be put in the calendar.
All right, last but not least, just touch real briefly on information. What's the barrier there?
The barrier is you're suddenly spending all your time searching for information, lost files, you don't know how well your business is doing, and
you don't know where to find stuff.
There's a whole bunch of things around it, but you again know that something is wrong, because when you ask for information, no one can find it, and when we ask the client, okay, where are you this month, they say, I don't know. That means there's an information barrier.
Yeah, and that could be your finances, your bottom line, your sales, your expenses, right?
It could have to be numbers.
Could be all sorts of things, yep, all of those, yes.
It could be numbers, like what's your revenue this year, or it could be a simple thing, can I see your job profile and of your admin assistant, and they don't know where to go to look for it.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So we really got to work on this. I think, personally, should have a day a week on this stuff.
Yes, but yeah, all right, but who's going to do that, David? Not you or I.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know what you mean.
Well, I'm not going to set a day a week. So that's why I'm saying that it should be, that's why the best person you can ever bring on board, even if you have to do it virtually, not have to, even if you want to do it virtually, is to bring on someone else who loves that. That's not what I love.
Which? The whole
The
set of barriers?
processes. No, the processes and information is what he said.
Oh, okay. We can talk about that later, David. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Just, okay, so bring on somebody that's going to help you do this, so you don't have to do that. You can do the things you love more, the getting the clients, the schmoozing, the doing the work, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Well,
right.
I sit in the background, write the processes.
Yeah. All right. Final thoughts. Susan, questions, answers? Anybody on the
Um,
call?
we should just open it up quickly to the participants. We have about 2 minutes. We want to close off exactly at 8:15. So let's ask any participants if they have any questions.
So far, I'm not seeing any coming up.
Nothing?
No,
Okay.
quiet group. But
All right. So
I want to personally thank all of Andrew and Anita and Colette and Hope and Fana and Mike and Natasha, Sonia and Tom. So thank you.
Yes,
And
thank
thank
you.
you.
Yes. Cool.
great. So I would actually like to thank David, Judy, and Nick sites they've provided into this session. I know my greatest takeaway is really about shifting your mindset, your thoughts on how to grow your business. Know your expertise, and think about bringing someone on board who could help with that administrative work. And don't get overwhelmed. Take small steps. You may not be at the stage where you need someone full-time, but a couple of hours could definitely really help. I also would like to thank our participants on the line. I hope you were able also to take away some important pieces around your business growth. So thank you. Our next session will be in September, and we will be posting that in around August. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, we're doing sales then, so get ready for that, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have a beautiful
Thank you.
summer. And thank you, Nick and Judy. This is where you get a hold of them before we wrap up. And just want to thank you for being our guest. It was a fabulous call. Sonia says thank you, and Hope says thank you, and in the chat bar I have here. So you're more than welcome. And again, continued success to everyone. And thanks, Judy and Nick.
Yes, continued success to everyone. I
Yes.
agree.
And David, just know that the reality for us is that not every business is the same, and so it just build the business that you want.
Right.
That's what's important.
Amen. Yes.
Yeah, I totally agree. Thanks, guys. It was great. Have a really a good summer, and again, thanks for being here tonight and for doing this. Thanks.